Ready spaghetti.
Perfect start. A Handmaid's Tale, space raves, and three white men discussing how to write women. After a short hiatus, Cannonballs is back at it, and this week we're talking about the newly released Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston. I'm Brian Carey, and this is Cannonballs, a comedy podcast where we discuss the plot of all the Star Wars media in chronological order that Disney has made canon, including books, comics, TV, and movies. I'm joined by my co-hosts and best friends, Aaron Laramie and Wesley Wisa No Like the Naboo. Isaac. Almost got through it.
What was that clicking that you threw in?
I rewatched the scene to make sure I got the quote exactly right, and he does a. We'll find out next week.
I like it.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that part of the. It's been so long. I started drinking, and I was like, he's gonna say something stupid. Yeah, it was,
damn right.
Rough.
21
rough,
days.
boys.
21 days since people last heard our voices.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened, man.
A lot, especially in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
Specifically in the Star Wars universe.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Every day I go to work, I'm like, what's gonna happen in the Star Wars universe next?
So I'm sure everyone will notice right away. No Daryl this week. He has been summoned on an archaeological dig. So Wes, how have you been?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it's classic Daryl, the archaeologist of the group. What do you got?
You got a little birthday coming up. Maybe we should sing happy birthday for you.
Yeah, that's
birthday month.
Yeah, I'm sure that these don't run long enough as it is. Let's start with that.
Yeah, let's sing a song. Get a couple verses in.
I'm just honestly, for my birthday, I just want to wish Aaron a happy birthday.
Yeah, I was like, can we get back to the important fact that it was my birthday like a couple months ago?
So I didn't mean for this to be the topic, but did you see they decided that because the sky looked different 3,000 years ago, there should be another zodiac sign?
What do you think it should be?
They named it, and I don't know zodiac signs at all, but like they shifted all the days. I guess I'm no longer a Leo, I'm a Cancer.
Didn't they do that already, or did they do that again?
I don't pay attention to zodiac signs.
I thought that was a while ago.
This isn't Zodiac Balls.
It could be.
So what I really wanted to talk about is I saw this question on the internet, and I wanted your take on it, and I'm pretty certain about how I feel.
Ooh.
So, in your opinion, do straws have 0 holes, 1 hole, or 2?
One long hole.
Yeah.
Your team 1 long hole? I'm team 2 holes.
Well, then wouldn't it be infinite holes?
Yeah, wait. Because 2 holes would imply an entrance and an exit for each hole, right? So 1 hole.
Do all holes have exits?
Yeah,
unless they're infinitely long. Yeah.
Back the way you came.
So if I dig into the ground and I drop something into it, what did I drop it into?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, what did you drop? And I was like, I don't know.
When Shia LaBeouf was caveman and there was Hector Zeroni and they went away to this lake and started digging as punishment. What do they call that movie?
Shia LaBeouf. I think it's Serbia, right?
They called it holes.
Isn't that Transformers?
Holes. So you're saying none of them were actually holes because they didn't go all the way to the other side of the earth?
No, I'm not saying that. But then how would that make your argument correct about the straw?
I think it has 2 holes.
So you're saying if in holes they dug a second hole, it would be a straw?
Yes. The book would be called Straws.
Okay.
And they would have to dig through the earth's core.
I don't know. What's the right answer? Did you look it up? Did you ask somebody who's more smarter than us?
No, I don't think there is one. It's just it's a fun debate.
Yeah, I can kind of see it going both ways. I still think it's just one.
Any one of you want to defend 0
hole.
holes? There are no holes in a straw.
Well, that makes no sense.
No, I guess the argument
would
be
the shape.
Yeah, it's just the shape. It's a hollow shape.
Yep.
Like my heart.
But wouldn't hollow imply that there's a hole because there's a lack of something?
No, it doesn't mean there's a hole. It could just be a vacant cavity.
Yeah.
Isn't that a hole?
No.
Then what is a hole if it's not a vacant cavity?
A hole in a straw.
All right. All right, we'll Google what is a hole.
Yeah, that's what I do every night.
Yep, this is Cannonballs. We Google what are holes. All right, a hollow place
Rats!
in a solid body or surface.
I said hollow cavity though, so
yeah.
Based on this diagram, a straw is only one hole.
yeah. I like zero holes. The more I think about it, I like to think that the straw is the object, and the hole in the middle is just the lack of an object.
Yeah, we took 21
Literally
days.
said the
I have been
hole
on
in the
all
middle.
three sides of the argument in that.
No, but okay, so like a hole in the middle of the straw. Maybe the straw is the middle, and the outside that is everything surrounding it is the vacant.
But then what about the part in the middle?
Oh, that's just the part you wrap the straw around. Like if I took this delicious Star Mix bag and like right, there's no holes other than the hole that I opened it with, but this isn't a hole. But now, is it a hole?
Is it a hole now?
It's a hole now.
Because you closed it?
I like the argument. You know,
Not a hole.
our Spotify listeners are the most loyal. Go to YouTube and check out Wes's hole.
Are you implying that?
You can't say that.
So your argument is that if you crush the straw up into a ball, that it won't be a straw anymore, and then not have a hole? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll talk about it some other time.
Okay.
We'll talk about this on hole balls.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Ball.
Sounds like you guys want to talk about Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston.
She's living holes.
This actually just came out a few weeks ago, June 6, 2020. I think she heard about our podcast and decided, let me scribble down a story about Queen Padme. I was calling her princess for a while. She is not a princess. She is a queen. Queen Amidala, in fact.
If you be so bold.
Get it.
So we will get straight into it. Padme was born on Naboo and was raised a privileged philanthropist. So her parents are pretty rich, it seems. Sends her out on, missions and volunteer work and all sorts of stuff.
Missions.
Yeah. We open and she is currently a candidate a couple weeks away from being the Queen of Naboo. And just kind of in her monologue, she is criticizing the last queen for being an isolationist. She didn't involve in any of the neighboring planets, just kind of wanted to keep to Naboo.
Make Naboo great again, if you will.
Naboo great again.
I think it's interesting that they use like the hierarchical moniker of a queen, like the traditional, but it's an elected official.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's some weird like traditionalist, like the Jedi or not the Jedi necessarily, but like their like Star Wars sort of culture in general is more sort of like traditional. I feel like Jedi values are very like Christian, which again are sort of more traditional.
Yeah, it's odd because there's also a governor of Naboo who supposedly has more power.
Mm-hmm.
It's that old man who is just like, you must send reinforcements.
It's like Parliament.
Yeah. There's like the queen who's sort of a figurehead.
And the queen's like, I'm in charge of stuff. And then like they're like, yeah, okay.
They're like, no, yeah.
No, yeah, calm down.
So we meet Quarsh Panaka, who is that from Phantom Menace. He's that black guy in the funny hat who's in the Royal Guard.
Horse Pankos. I got it.
Panaka.
That's what I said, bro.
He is meeting with a doppelganger of Padme, who is...
Oh, I wonder what happens. She probably doesn't get blown up, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, she's cool.
Well, I could touch on that later. Write that down, because I could touch on who gets blown up.
Yeah, write that down, Wes. Write that in your notepad.
It's down. It's ready. It's
all right,
ready to
good.
go. I'll actually have my studio manager take a note of that.
Yeah, you got your intern.
So I guess they assign a head of Royal Guard to each candidate before the election happens, so they could kind of get started in case anyone wins on how they're going to protect the future queen. So he's meeting with a doppelganger. She has always been second best. She went to her safety musician school, not the best one on Naboo, in Thebes.
Safety.
And he
Safety
is just
musician,
kind of
like-
interviewing her. It's just like, hey, what do you think about this candidate Amidala? She's like, I don't give a fuck about politics, but
She's like trash.
I kind of look like her.
I've been told I look just like her, but
She's
I don't
pretty good
care.
looking.
Yeah. So that scene kind of ends. We get a little monologue of Panaka talking to Palpatine about how the election's going and who he thinks is going to win. And he's like, I miss Palpatine. Was a lot more order when he was here. I don't know.
He's a cool guy.
I don't know if he was a governor at some point or just gets more
He's
power
like-
as a senator.
I have a real good judge of character, and this guy,
Yeah.
I got a great feeling about him.
He's a
Bring him
Boy
back.
Scout, that Palpatine.
So we learn that Naberi is Padme's surname. She is born Padme Naberi. And
That's
the
terrible.
queen is anonymous throughout the election and her whole term. So Amidala is like a Christian given name or like a pope name. So she is Queen Amidala, and no one's supposed to know her name's Padme. And throughout the
Wow.
election, which I thought was kind of cool if people ran anonymously.
Yeah.
As a political idea.
That'd be cool, yeah. And you just like candidate number one.
Yep.
That'd be my name.
Number one, baby.
Who do you want to vote for?
Vote for one. Because I'm number one.
Yeah, let Trump
Committee-
people get married. Vote yes on Proposition 83241.
None of my watch.
Yeah, I'm doing a bit. Hold on.
Yeah.
Not on my watch.
So it's apparently some of the queens, they are kind of play with their identity, like their hidden identity, kind of fast and loose. So some are just like, hey, you hear I'm the queen of the planet?
Check me out.
Yeah. No mention of kings, so it's a matriarchal planet too. Kind of just some fascinating undertones in Naboo. So we cut to the Senate. You guys are going to start noticing this book's a little disjointed in all the stuff I got.
I like it. I'm already excited.
Wait till we
Yeah.
get to the actual plot.
Oh, fuck. I hope it's real bad.
Yeah. So Palpatine's voting against a tax bill that's going to benefit the Trade Federation and hurt Naboo. So he is
God damn it, Palpatine.
openly a good senator for Naboo, it would seem.
Yeah, you know what? I'm curious to see how it gets pushed through then. I'm a very big, as I've said many times, very big into episode 1 because it really establishes and explains the intergalactic trade laws. And I feel like, wow, just like that's what you want from a Star Wars film, right? Laws. I was like, how can they hold an embargo? That doesn't seem legal. And then like, oh, wait a minute, it's because all these laws.
Oh,
Man.
you're going to be so disappointed.
Oh, no. Oh, now I'm just sad.
So Panaka and Padme meet. Padme's been elected. It seemed like she had the votes going. So people elect Padme as queen, and Panaka's like, I want to discuss the Handmaid initiative with you. It's really, he just thinks having a double for Padme would be good. And then Padme's like, well, 2 of us doesn't really protect me much at all. What if we just had a whole gaggle of people who look just like me?
Oh man, an army of Padmes.
Yeah. You
And
want
we
That's
train
where they
them.
got the idea for Clone Wars. I get it.
Oh man, they should have just cloned a bunch of her.
Yeah.
Just
That way
fill
Anakin
the Senate
would've
with Padmes.
Yeah, Anakin would have been like, which one do I fall in love with? I'm so confused.
All of them.
And-
One died. She's like, well, I guess I got you guys.
He's like, I got all these spare Padmes laying around. Oops, killed one of them.
You
That would
know
have saved I would have saved everything. Oh, we were so close.
You know
We
the
fixed it,
Senate
baby.
room with all the little floating discs? They're just all filled with
All
Padmes.
Padmes? That's my dream.
Like, vote of no confidence.
Fucking
Yeah.
Chancellor Valorium, and he's like, I don't understand.
It's Valorum's worst nightmare.
Yeah, that's terrible. Oh man, what a life.
So we get Newt Gunray speaking to Lord Sidious about this annoying senator from Naboo. So I guess Gunray has no idea that Sidious is Palpatine.
He's like, fuck that guy. He's like, I'll show you.
Yeah, Palpatine's got like a little monologue. He's just like, it's a little too early to get people who aren't absolute imbeciles involved with my plan.
He's like, I'll pick this lizard guy. He's like, hey, they won't let us do whatever I want. And he's like, dude, I'm the same guy. Like, it's more elaborate. He's like, no, you're different.
You got your hood up.
He's like, no, you have a hood and the other guy doesn't.
He's holding up a mustache.
He's just fucking poorly drawn mustache. He's like, oh, no. The Chancellor and Senator guy doesn't have a mustache.
So the first doppelganger that Quarsh Panaka was meeting her name's Saban. Starts with a T. Saban. Yep, she's the second best musician. I had some questions like, wouldn't people like miss this person? Like suddenly this person's gone and a queen that looks just like them is in charge. It raised a lot more questions than answers for me.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, it's like they just disappear.
Yeah,
and you're like, hey, where's Sparrow? And they're like, Saban? Yeah, same thing. And they go,
Yeah, same difference.
And like they're
Favorite
closing
pizza
all of
place.
them. Yeah, they're gonna go out of business soon.
Are
That's
they
all
really?
Yeah,
That's probably a good thing.
yeah. I mean,
Tomorrow's?
nobody wants like shitty pizza.
Yeah.
And like all their locations make no sense. It's like, come down to New York for Sparrow. I'm like, why would you? If you're in the city, that's like, I went to New York, got some authentic New York pizza, Domino's. You'd be like, dude, you're an idiot.
You don't love a nice cold piece of Sbarro at the airport?
And they're probably like name a worse pizza than Sbarro.
It's not great.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. Domino's and Pizza Hut, I feel like are like sketchy sometimes.
Yeah, but Domino's and Pizza have that draw of like they're Domino's and Pizza Hut, and like you can get them at like fucking 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it's like 3 a.m. I can just call up the Domino's and be like, "Are you guys open?" They're like, "Fuck yeah, we're still here." And I'm like, "Yo, give me some pizza. I'm drunk as shit." And they're like, "All right." If I call them Sparrow, they'd be like,
we're closed.
I was just quiet because I'm like, nobody answered. Well, you know what it is? They're paying that guy to stay there all night and tell people they're closed.
They got one guy on the phone. Can I place an order? Though?
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, we're closed.
No, we're closed. I'm not a Krusty Krab. Yeah, it's terrible, man.
So you guys know those shitty frozen pizzas? They're personal. It's called Celeste.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all eaten plenty in our day. They got rid of the little like mirror-like metallic thing in the bottom that actually makes the bottom crispy. So now if you get it, it is just mush.
They're extra wet.
Yeah. So, well, if you microwave it, I guess you could throw your Celeste pizza in the oven. But I'd argue if you're eating one of those,
yeah,
you're not in a position to be operating an oven.
Why are you trying to stand and deliver a Celeste pizza? Like, just take it for what it is, man. Take it for what it is.
Yeah. So I'd say that's the only pizza worse than Sbarro.
Yeah, that's like if you do ramen on the stovetop. Yeah, I boiled the water and added the like, dude, just fucking throw some hot water in there and pray for the best, man. Like, what are you doing?
Just turn the sink on hot, stir it around a little bit.
Just tear a little hole in the package, pour the powder, and shake it up and eat that shit dry like a grown man.
Pour it in your mouth. Pour hot water in your mouth. Make the ramen there.
Yeah, put the scalding water on your mouth.
boil it with your tonsils and move on. You vibrate your tonsils fast enough, the water in your mouth boils. Just fucking move on, man. That's science.
Next case.
Next.
Oh. So Padme meets the Saban and is like, hey, you look just like me. They kind of talk out their plan of having more people, and they're basically like, "Hey, let's have a whole gang of us, and we'll always be in disguise. I'll learn your mannerisms and whatnot, and no one will know who's who, and you'll never get murdered."
And you'll never get murdered.
And the whole time they're like, there hasn't been much violence on Naboo in a long time. I don't know if this is necessary, but they keep doing it anyway.
How do they tell them apart?
How does who tell them apart? Themselves?
Like, yeah, no, like if I was like fake Padme, I'd be like, no, I'm the real one.
Yeah, that's
kill that Padme.
So-
I'd be like, that's the other one. That's my like cover. I'm in charge, and they'd be like, "No, I'd be like, there's so many of them."
I'm Spartacus.
So they're not twins, but if you remember, they're all kind of really done up in makeup and shit.
Oh,
so
yeah,
when they do that,
they're in whiteface.
it's like, oh, it's generic white brunette girl.
And are they going to edit that out?
Yeah, I'm like, they're white in general, but for some reason they're in whiteface in the movies, and I'm like, that's interesting.
It's a little aggressive.
You're
Is it
right.
supposed to be like geisha? Like, are they?
That's the vibe. I always got. I don't know. I didn't read the book.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like they have these weird like traditional value. I don't know. There's a weird like value system in Star Wars sometimes.
And I'll maybe touch on this at some point, but Naboo is like this weird, like. Remember reading about like Athens versus Sparta? Like Naboo is Athens. They don't have real jobs. They're musicians. They're actors. They're philanthropists. Their export is art for some reason.
So like, you have an art degree, come to Naboo, it'll actually do something for you.
They're like high society, and
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm like, I can manage a hedge fund, and they're like, but can you paint?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
how good of a painter are you?
Yeah, they're like, that's a terrible song.
I hated that poem. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Hell just drove by one of your houses.
Dude, that was my house. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was like, that's not me.
Good Lord.
Holy shit.
Your house is like, you're not on top of the street. Jesus Christ.
No, I know. There's a rocket
like that down your street. That's horrifying. I'm scared.
There's a rocket. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well,
that's a Cannonballs first.
So we get a little Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon and his visions. He's gonna make Obi-Wan read this tax bill because he senses something about it.
Jesus Christ!
Make Obi-Wan read this tax bill.
Obi-Wan's kind of Qui-Gon's bitch in a lot of situations.
That's one of the fun parts about you just going through the canon is hearing sentences like that.
Yeah, I agree. I like that Obi-Wan ends up being like a paralegal for Qui-Gon most of the time. He's like, and then he said, "Screw the law," and I'm like, "Wow." Qui-Gon came out with that. He's like, "No, Obi-Wan did hours of research to get him that line." I'm like, "Oh, he's not that good of a lawyer. Obi-Wan did all the work."
Objection.
Objection.
So yeah, Obi-Wan reads this tax bill because of Qui-Gon's visions, and he's saying the taxation's going to drive a wedge between the corporations and the planets. And we find out that corporations get their own senators in Star Wars. It's this weird dystopian thing now.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. They should be people or treated as such.
But it seems like there's still legal lobbying, so not only do they get actual votes, they get to bribe the other senators.
They can also lobby. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Like, I don't hate the idea if we get rid of lobbying entirely, but
They're like, we can lobby and we control the lobbying oversight committee. We found no issue.
Oddly enough, everything we're doing is perfectly fine.
well, I'm head of internal affairs, so this is fine with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Qui-Gon's like, "Objection!"
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's in the stands like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get some more setup of Padme's royalty or rule. She's going to refuse the actual royal guard in her own quarters. Says, "Hey, we'll just share it with all the handmaids." We find out Palpatine represents the whole system, not just Naboo. There's like 30 or so planets. Padme starts with a sinister 6 of handmaids.
Ooh.
We've got Padme. We've got the
Yeah,
Green
we got
Goblin.
her. Green Goblin.
Scorpion.
Yeah.
Rhino.
Vulture. Yeah, Vulture. Whoever
Electro.
Yeah, dude, I think we got everybody.
So
I
we
like
get
it.
the musician Saban. There's a con woman they hire. She like went to art school and basically forged paintings and sold them off world.
Oh, that's
Her name's
genius.
Rabin. There's a scientist, which seems like an actual job, which is rare on Naboo.
I will say she shouldn't just be like a random like impersonator of the queen. Like she should actually be a important.
She should have some sort of job.
Yeah, like a contributing member of society.
Yeah. There's a seamstress.
Yeah, she has a doctorate in chemistry, and she hangs out with whiteface on, like in the background, and, like eat some food and stuff. Like she's just waiting to die.
What's your job? I have an MBA, but I impersonate a queen.
Yeah.
I'm very confused. Like,
I'm a
whatever.
cosplayer. Like,
We've got a seamstress. She can operate a sewing machine.
yeah, that's like being a scientist.
So
Yeah, they almost pronounce the same too.
my boy Quarsh, he's like introducing everyone, like in a circle, like some weird scene for a heist.
Oh,
And
that was
then-
like in college, like the first day when you're in like fake college, and they're like, and like say one thing about yourself. And he's like, I'm a scientist, but I'd much rather be doing whiteface.
And so Quarsh is introducing all of them, like, oh, seamstress, scientist, con woman, musician, and this is Sasha.
You hobo. Like, all right.
We never get anything about her. She's too short apparently to really be mistaken for Padme.
Yeah, too young to rule the kingdom.
Yep, too young. I wonder how that's gonna sound with your fake microphone.
Oh, please. This thing is professional.
Oh
I
yeah.
know. Shout out to all of our audio only listeners.
All unsubscribed.
Yeah, close the podcast.
Ears are bleeding right now. I apologize.
So I wrote down all their names, and they decide they're just gonna take on fake names that sound like Padme.
Cool.
Yep.
Padme.
Yeah.
I want to be Padme.
Padme.
Yeah.
Padme.
Yeah. Pad Thai.
Brian really liked Pad
That was good. Pad Thai was good.
Pad Thai. Oh, shit.
So I start to think I'm gonna get an actual plot, and there's a labor shortage on Naboo. They got all this grain, but everyone's a sculptor, and they don't know how to harvest it.
Look at all this food. What are we doing? The guy's like, sing it a song. That's how it works, dude.
So
Oh, shit.
they realize they have two options: let the grain rot again and
Jesus Christ.
fertilize
Again?
the soil,
Yeah. Okay.
Jesus Christ. I guess we're going hungry for the 8th year in a row. Dude, what the fuck? Figure it out.
well, they're gonna let the grain rot and buy it off worlds,
Jesus
or bring in
Christ.
some off-world workers to harvest their own grain. So, well, that's a plot at least that I'd trust Padme to solve.
It seems really easy.
It does. So Padme tours the planet to check out the grain, and it mentions that she's going. So they're all trying to like imitate each other and take on each other's hobbies, basically. So anyone could step in and be Amidala, the actual queen name,
Like the
at
queen.
some point. And it mentions, oh, she tries a new voice, which just seems like a weird patch for Amidala talking like this in the movie
Interesting.
for no reason.
Yeah.
So they decided that was a voice they could all replicate.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
like it.
So we're all over the place some more. We get some Darth Maul brooding. He hates the Jedi because they didn't save him from the witches of Darthamir, which sounds like a way cooler story than what's going on here. But
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit into
Yeah, I
that
agree.
with the Darth Maul thing, but not not as much as we could have. I did see some stuff about, I don't know how legit it is, but about Darth Maul origin shit, but I don't really remember it. So
There are supposedly more Darth Maul comics, and we got some in Clone Wars.
okay,
So,
yeah, I read some stuff or saw a video about his actual origin and that kind of shit. But like I said, I don't know if it's really canon or if it's like it was 3 a.m. and I was tired and drunk and some guy was like, "So I think this would happen with Darth Maul," and I'm reading it and I'm like, "Wow, that's cool." Yeah, I don't know.
So chronologically, it wouldn't make sense to be like, now let's watch season 3, episode 24 of Clone Wars before this. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we'll hop back into some Darth Maul.
All good.
So we got Chancellor Valorum and Palpatine meeting with the Trade Federation about this tax bill and trying to make it, more even for planets like Naboo. And Palpatine says, we don't really need to call in some Jedi moderators just yet. We could work this one out.
Yeah, it's not time for episode 1 yet.
We go to Tatooine for no real reason. We get
Just hang out.
Shmi and Anakin.
Anakin's like, "I'm not really involved, but I'd like to be." And they're like, "Okay, deal."
Anakin was in a pod race and crashes again and breaks both his legs, but I guess they have some magic space healing juice to fix his legs. He's like, "Oh, it's fine, Mom. It's just my femurs."
Who buys it for him? Is it Watto? Is he like?
It is Watto.
Oh, the classic Watto's like space leg juice, but it only costs me 100 Republic credits.
He's like, "I got to waste on slave Anakin."
What an ass.
Watto is an ass.
Like, actually, he is.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So we get some conversation between Yoda and Mace Windu. Mace comes and finds Yoda. He goes, "Hey, some sort of disturbance going on." And Yoda's like, "Well, I sense nothing." And Mace is like, "Really? You sense nothing?" He's like, "Yep. So there must be something."
Yoda's like, "No, you're wrong. There's nothing."
So I guess the absence of sensing anything in the Force makes Yoda suspicious, but he's not getting any Force vibes towards him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "This is weird. I haven't had a Force boner in so long."
My Force boner's pointing this way.
Oh wait, are you doing a bit? I'm getting a raging Force boner.
I think the story is going to get a little more congruent going forward because we're fucking hopping all over the place.
Yeah, you guys are using some big words tonight, man.
Congruent. I think I used that correctly.
I don't even know.
Right.
I believe I'm not that dumb. Like, I think I have a pretty good vocabulary. It sounds right.
Let's not look it up and just assume that we're right.
Absolutely.
Just move on. Yeah.
Oh man, I started using words that make no sense in situations.
Yeah.
People catch it and they usually don't.
Yeah. I don't think our listeners will. Oh, we got someone in the chat room who just says, "So." All right. If you're still here, 53. Hey.
In the chat?
We're live on Twitch, dude.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Not in our meeting chat. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I can comment if you'd like, but it doesn't really help us.
Oh, he's live here. He said I've misread or he misread. I don't know. We're doing a live podcast, so I'm gonna stop interacting with him.
No, honestly, I think the best part about it is
her.
The best part about it is that you always interact with our 3 fans that end up appearing, and you're like, we're gonna field questions now. Shit, when did that happen? And you're like, how do you guys feel about racism? And I'm like, what?
That was really funny.
Thank God Daryl's on that archaeological dig, because I swear to God, it would be a nightmare if we had him talking about it.
So,
hit me. Let's go.
Padme decides she's gonna host a summit for the system to discuss all the grain and labor issues they've got.
Sure.
There's the 30 planets I mentioned. Most of them are gonna decline just because the past queen who wanted nothing to do with them. So a couple main players in the planets show up. And one is discussing how all their artists leave and go to Naboo and they want more artists to stay.
Jesus Christ.
The other says, well, there's this really old mining agreement that we're involved with. They're like the only workers of the system. That basically says we have to sell you our best ore below market value so you can make instruments.
for the instruments.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to be able to protect ourselves, but we have too many instruments and not enough weapons. What do we do?
So Padme consults one of her handmaids, Sabe, she goes by now, who's a musician, was just like, how good of an ore do you need to make an instrument? She goes, you don't need good ore at all.
Yeah, she's
So
like,
Padme's out there
you
fucking...
could use this or that.
So Padme's out there snapping necks, solving problems for the system, and Palpatine finds out from his buddy Quarsh that she's doing this, and he's a little annoyed that he underestimated Padme being able to unite the system.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe Palpatine selected this 14-year-old girl thinking she wouldn't be a problem and would be easy to deal with.
She wouldn't care, like most 14-year-old girls would be like, I don't want to run some fucking like
Yeah,
I don't want
I don't give a fuck about the ore.
yeah. What ore? Like,
She's like, I thought we used ores to row boats. What the fuck are we doing with mining ores? Like, this is just a big hole filled with, and also a hole. Does it have one entrance or two? We don't really know. But
So of course they're gonna act like 14-year-old girls, and they want to sneak out and go to a concert. One of the diplomats they met at the summit was just like, "Hey, I've got these tickets for Neurotransmitter Affection, my new favorite Star Wars band."
the guy's like 40 years old and he still has like a soul patch. And he's like,
He's just like, "Hey, 14-year-old
Yeah.
girls."
I'm a kid just like you. Let's go hang out at this concert.
yeah.
No, it was another female. It's a matriarchy, it
good.
seems like, in the system, besides Palpatine. Papa Palpatine.
Daddy Palps.
Big Daddy,
Daddy
Palps.
Oh, Daddy Palps.
Big Daddy Michael Palps.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite swimmer, Michael Palps.
Michael Palps. Yeah. He's an Olympic legend.
Palpatine's my father's name. Call me Michael Palps.
Yeah.
Wait, is that why Michael Phelps has so many gold medals?
Yeah, he has the
Yeah,
fourth running
he's
room.
got the ore.
He swims and it's in water just like boats.
And gold is also an ore. It's a double entendre.
Yeah,
Oh man, dude, so much ore.
that's fucking comedy. Twitch chat.
Now that's comedy.
Captain Pride.
Magnificent.
Yeah. Mwah.
You know, we always said that we weren't really going to remember those, but I think we kind of did more than I thought we were going
The
to.
Magnifique was a good one.
Magnifique was good. I like Now That's Comedy.
Yeah, now that's comedy.
I use Now That's Comedy sometimes at work and nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Someone says something like, well, now that's comedy. And they're like, yeah, all
No one
right.
on the podcast even knows what that is. So
Yeah, nobody even knows what's going on right now. It's just us three.
We just make inside jokes to each other the whole time. That's why people are here.
Absolutely.
by people
Yeah.
who we mean us.
Daryl's probably watching from his dinosaur.
He's on Twitch.
expedition.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, I wish I could be there, but these fossils don't dig themselves up.
So
Daryl's
one
got
of
delicate hands.
the younger handmaids staying back to pose as Padme so that she could go out. Like, it'll be fine. I'll hang out here. You go to the concert. It'll be a great time. And eventually they get caught because the younger handmaid has her first period in Padme's bed.
Oh, perfect.
And Quarsh Panaka put blood sensors in the bed in case he needed
Blood?
to rescue her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One more time? One more time?
blood sensors
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
in Padme's bed
Uh-huh.
in case he needed to rescue her at some
What else
point.
would he have put there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
he
blood
needs to rescue her from becoming a woman, or I'm very...
So Quarsh
She gets
Panaka's wife is also a royal guard, and She's like, hey, by the way, you're a fucking idiot.
And he's like, so I added blood sensors to her bed, and she's like, what? Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
What a terrible day to have your first period, though. Like,
I agree.
I'd fire her.
She's 12. I feel like here's where we should discuss women's anatomy. How old?
Absolutely. I feel like that's too young, but I have no
12
fucking
is
idea.
young? I thought it was old.
No, I don't know, man.
I'm pretty
Aaron,
sure.
You have sisters. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I think double digits to like 13 is normal. Like
So maybe 12's not
some people are early and some people are late. I'd say like anytime you hit double digits to like 13, 14 is probably pretty reasonable.
All right.
You guys know more than I do.
Cannonball's podcast for us to mansplain women's anatomy next week.
Yeah, that's my dissertation. Pretty sure 4-year gap.
All right, so Padme is caught because of one of her handmaid's periods. E.K. Johnston is a woman, by the way, the one who wrote Queen's Peril. So this is a woman writing women. I just want to point out.
Honestly, man, like, dude, classic problem in the Senate.
That's a story told right from the.
Who would have known? Who would have guessed, man? What a twist! You're like,
I mean,
I'm making this concert.
I'm not a woman. I don't know if a plot point of having your period is something girls want to read about.
I'm not even sure if anything.
Is it something Star Wars fan?
Canon.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I think you're appealing to a very small population here.
It's a niche audience, but
absolutely.
Yeah. So, anyways, Padme's caught. Her and Panaka have an argument. It's like, hey, you went out without security, and she's like, well, technically, me and all my handmaids were trained the same way your security is, so I had bodyguards around me.
Yeah. Who's even to say that I'm Padme?
Yeah. She's a double. They switched her.
I'm Pad Thai.
Padme's dead. Yeah.
Oh, Padme, she died. I'm Pad Thai. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
So this whole thing happens. Well, at the concert, Padme had this glow stick thing break and kind of stain her hand and face, so she actually can't be Amidala for the final day of the summit. So they switch out because I guess they couldn't even wipe off the weird glow stick stuff. And I thought this was going to be an important plot point and be like, oh no, she was fucking poisoned.
Nope.
No.
It's just like she spilled some fucking. She ate wings and dropped hot sauce on her shirt, and they were like, "Yeah, somebody else.
Yeah,
somebody else got it.
Too much hot sauce.
Get her out of here.
You're covered in hot sauce, man. Go home.
Yeah,
Pad Thai's taking over, and she's like, "Oh, Pad Thai time, motherfuckers."
Take a wet nap shower. Come back.
A wet nap shower.
Dude,
is that just like individual wet naps falling from the spout, or?
My thought was like it's like a cartoon, and you stand in the shower and you just pull a string, and wet naps just douse you. that was my thought, but I like that they come out of the faucet.
They like spin out of the
faucet. Yeah.
I was thinking we're just taking them and cleaning your whole body. Like clean that wing sauce off and you're good.
It's not wing sauce. They just went out to get wings. It wasn't even a concert.
Like Padme, you got a little something there.
Pizza sauce. I went to the Sparrow down the street, but they were closed.
Yeah.
Down to Domino's. And they put too much marinara, classic Domino's.
Yeah. You call Sbarro, they're like, we're closed. And they hang up.
Yeah. We're closed.
So Padme chooses her first handmaid, the one that Quarsh picked first, to be Amidala.
Captain Quarsh.
Yep, Captain Quarsh. And so Padme is one of the handmaids right now, just floating around, and she gets mistaken by one of the diplomats that invited her. This other lady, I don't know how old she is, but and she's like, "Hey, I had fun last night," and tries to kiss Padme, thinking she's Sabe.
Oh shit!
And Padme's like, "Well, nope, no, thank you, goodbye."
I'm good.
Padme's like, I only like little boys.
Yeah. that kid that broke his
like,
leg.
I only like 9-year-old boys. Sorry.
He's like, I wish that you were a small child with 2 broken legs that was half slave and part Jedi, because I swear to God.
If only you were a small 9-year-old slave boy.
Yeah,
I'd
that
have
checks
you
every
right
one of my
now.
boxes. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I
I don't like that one.
No.
I didn't like it. I
Not
didn't
for
like
you.
it. Yeah.
You can make an apology.
Maybe next episode.
That one wasn't that bad. I'm gonna stick by that. You know, we apologize enough. We should be
Do we?
ourselves. No, we don't.
So there's a little bit of drama there with
Oh
getting the
shit.
kiss declined, because later the diplomat sends a note to Sabe, but never comes back up.
Good.
Great. Yeah, I love.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's almost like, honestly, you're setting up something really good that I know is not going to happen, because you said that nothing good happens. But like, you have all this stuff that doesn't get addressed and becomes nothing. Usually at the end, there's something that you're like, oh fuck! And the glow stick, the guy who broke the glow stick, it was Palpatine. The whole thing. It's like something I know it's not going to happen, but I'm so excited for the possibility of it being like, holy shit! They just miss all these opportunities to make something mean more.
And
And
it
then
was
they're
the
like,
serving
"Hit 'em
droids
with
who
it."
killed Strono Tugs.
Yeah, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, Strono Tugs made the wings that stained Padme's clothes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew it.
Deep
was
cut
an
for all you
inside
true
job.
Cannonball fans out there.
Yeah, that's an episode 1 Cannonball Strono Tugs reference right there. Everybody knows that one.
Don't listen to that one.
The sound quality is almost good.
So next thing that happens in this story is Newt Gunray sends Padme a message saying, hey, I want you to fucking sign this treaty that gives up Naboo to the Trade Federation, because I'm mad that Palpatine won't sign this
I'm
tax
mad.
bill.
It's like Darth Sidious says it's fine, but Palpatine says no. I'm very confused. They're completely different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the senator can't ratify a treaty, governor can't, only the queen can. So,
That's good. That's an interesting part of government. You know, this is my wheelhouse. You know.
Oh, can we dive deep into that right now?
yes.
Okay, good. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
So at this point, I'm like, oh shit, here's where we're going to learn all about the fucking trading that happened and, you know, why there's a blockade, and it'll lead right up into Phantom Menace, and I'll get, you know, background, and I'll want to watch Phantom Menace after I finish this book for some reason.
Yeah, and your dad's going to be like, see, I told you it was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were so close.
He read this book before. That's how he knew.
And then Trade Federation invades Naboo, and I'm like, oh no. This is Phantom Menace now, just from the point of view of Padme and the Handmaids for the rest of the book. There's been all this build-up and plot, and now I'm going to read Phantom Menace for the second half of the book. So strap in, boys.
Is it Phantom Menace time?
We're watching the movie.
I'm gonna touch on a few points that kind of are different from Phantom. Well, not different, but a different viewpoint. But
the viewpoint of the droids, where they're like, we don't get paid enough to do this.
Beep,
Beep, boop, boop, bop. They're like, I don't know why we gotta be summer droids, you know?
So
Summer
like,
here,
no.
summer there. They're very confused.
More beep, boo, boo, bop.
We've got one viewer in the chat who's actually pretty active, and he's booing Phantom Menace right now.
I like it.
Yeah, Phantom Menace is rough.
Yeah, so Naboo's under blockade for about a week. They nearly run out of food. Valorum sends some ambassadors to the Trade Federation. We know they're Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
They run out of food because they can't harvest their own grain still? Is that where we're at? So
yeah, they never solved that problem.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So she was too busy like, hey, don't worry, I'll make sure that you guys keep your ore, but we're just going to go hungry?
Yeah, so the mining company was going to do that, but the Trade Federation was kind of like, hey, we like to buy ore. How about you don't send any workers to Naboo?
Yeah, but I thought they were in contract to send their best ore to Naboo.
It wasn't anything official. It was like a... Because, you know, these Nabooians, that's what we're going to call them.
Ooh.
He's booing Naboo.
This was just some, high society drinking party.
Yeah, like a spit handshake. Like, I'll give you my best ore if you give me music. And they're like, yeah. And they shake their hands. Yeah. All right. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, Valorum's sending ambassadors. The Trade Federation invades. Padme and Sabe are like, let's switch places so, everyone thinks you're queen.
Oh, no.
Because we're getting invaded.
I'm not excited.
Yep. They escape with Qui-Gon. So there's a couple handmaids left on the planet, and they give Governor Bibble you must send reinforcements guy a code word to put in that message.
Is it you must? I thought it was you must contact us. Is that somebody else? Who's that guy?
It's old guy, bald, long hair.
Yeah, who's the guy that says, you know what? I'm thinking of the you must contact us guy from Clone Wars. You know what I'm talking about? Where he sends a little message to Obi-Wan on the ship, and you must contact me, and then the little droidie could show up. You know what I'm talking about? No, it's okay. It's all right. It's a very unimportant part of anything ever. So, but yeah, no, we'll get there. When we get there, I'm gonna be like, remember from the time we talked about the Padme book? I'll bring it back up. It's fine.
So they squeeze in some code word. I didn't write down what it was, but it was basically a message to Padme and Sabe that says, hey, we're still alive, but we're captured. They came up with all these code words in their late night slumber parties and stuff. And so Padme and the handmaids start making fun of Obi-Wan for being like, it's a trick, don't send any reply. And they're like, well, no fucking duh, it's a trick. Thanks for mansplaining that, Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. Well, he always has to handle everything for Qui-Gon, so.
Like, he leaves the room and they're just like, did he really think we were gonna send reinforcements? So that's kind of different from the movie. Padme asks for the vote of no confidence in Valorum.
He was in a tough position. Do we know why he went along with everything?
No.
Obviously, well, the whole point of it, like, you watch Phantom Menace, and like, if you actually care about the political side of it, which I do, he's like, they're like, it's an embargo and Naboo's getting fucked up, and he's like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, but why is he like, oh well, like the whole reason is that he gets like voted out of office is that he's just kind of like, Trade Federation can do what they like. But, like, I'd like to see why. I want to know like why he's just such a soft guy. I'm like, if it was, I'd be like, you guys, you like weird lizard people that can't tell the difference between Palpatine and fucking Darth Sidious. You can't stop this planet from getting their grain. They can't even figure out how to get grain. They're all musicians. Trade them some ore for some food and leave them alone. Like, maybe he never read the book. Maybe that's why she gave him vote no confidence. He can't read. Oh my god, he's illiterate. I'd fucking no confidence in him too.
Yeah, I think he just was a big Trade Federation guy.
Yeah,
maybe he was in the pocket of the Trade Federation. We don't get a clear story on why.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit more Valorum background.
So the blockade, by the way, not legal at all. It seems.
I don't think it was. They made it seem like it was, but I was like.
But they wanted to try to resolve it peacefully. Yeah.
Just bad government, man.
So
Star Wars is just a story of bad government.
They go back to Naboo. Yes, it is. They go back to Naboo, and Sabe's talking to Boss Nass, who does not like to Naboo. And she's not doing a great job, so Padme's like, that queen right there, that's not the queen, I'm the queen.
It's always good to have like a second chance.
Yep.
Like you come in with your pitch and they don't like it, and it's like, no, she's fake. I'm in charge, and I say the opposite. And he's like, now used to talking.
Yeah, he's like, good point.
So, rescue party gets Newt Gunray from the throne room. Padme's back in the place. Bookends kind of comparing Padme and Leia at their respective ceremonies, like Leia at the end of A New Hope, giving medals to Luke, and Padme at the end of Phantom Menace, seeing
where they could have just ended the whole thing. But
so I was really disappointed to find out it ended with Phantom Menace.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. This isn't Recipe for Death territory, but
You mean it wasn't that good? Dude,
That's just it.
Recipe for Death is tops, man. When you
honestly,
when you
Recipe
did
for
the
Death was at least fun to talk about.
you know, when you did it with horrible audio quality, and you did the unveil, like, and then it was the droids all alone, and we were like,
Silence.
we couldn't keep track of who was who. We were like, that was my favorite part. That was my favorite part of the entire podcast so far.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, the droids did it. Oh man,
Big
wow,
twist.
wow, like that, man, great.
But
Good
yeah,
job.
this I feel like it kind of patches some holes that I didn't really care to be answered.
Yeah, I feel like from what you've explained, there's a lot more they could have done with it.
Yeah.
If you're like if you're working your way up to that to like Phantom Menace, the same thing. Like you missed out making Jar Jar more important in the later movies, and you missed out really building something here that, even though it's not a film or something that really the general population is going to see, something that gives you a little bit more insight into exactly what's going on and why things are happening the way they are. Like, even the whole thing, like, so they do an entire like embargo on Naboo, and everybody's like, that's how it is. I'm like, no, like, why? Like, why is that okay? You know? And then they're like, but you know what happened? She got her period in the other chick's bed, so you know.
Yeah, those
No
blood sensors.
confidence for you. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's like okay, but like, give me some actual insight into it. You know, I don't.
Yeah, and they spend this time, you know, discussing how the politics of Naboo work and how the Queen gets elected, and I'm like, oh, maybe we'll get into why the whole blockade and everything, and it was just it was touched on so little.
Yeah, no, I feel like that was
like they told half the book was Phantom Menace.
Yeah, no, if you want to learn about World War I, you're like, Garvalo Princip gets assassinates Franz Ferdinand, and you're like, wow, maybe I should learn about why Franz Ferdinand gets assassinated. And this was the time to tell why it happens. And they were like, yeah, it happens, and then things get fucked up. But you're like, give me more of a background into exactly, because Phantom Menace starts and they show up and they're like, Naboo has no food. Things are bad. But like, why? Give me a backstory towards it, you know?
Wes, did you play that role in that movie?
And which one?
In Phantom Menace? I'm after that performance, I feel like was that not you?
Wes played Chancellor Valorum?
I'm
Did you not?
I sure
I was impressed.
I sure love Green Lizard trade people, and then like voted no confidence, and I look like this. Just kind of sad because like, he doesn't say anything. She's like,
oh man, now I have no confidence.
No confidence, and he's like, they show him, and he's like, like, is that it? Like, he's trying to vote you out of office, and you're just moderately upset about it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm confident.
He's like, I'm confident in who I am. I want to know more about that shit, man. Like, I want more governmental shit.
So I've got some faith in my boy Timothy Zahn, who writes some good Star Wars books. He has a book coming out in...
Was that book coming out?
He's got a book coming out in September called Chaos Rising, which takes place before Phantom Menace, and I'm hoping that'll be all the politics we want.
Dude, I'd be so happy, man.
I hope it's a big political drama.
I hope it's just the tax bill that Obi-Wan had to read.
Yeah, it's Obi-Wan dictating the tax bill to you.
There's just so much.
Oh man, they actually get Ewan McGregor. Or no, it would be the other guy, not Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, who
name
what is like
Obi-Wan and Phantom Menace? Go.
I'm not sure who it is.
Nobody knows.
Honestly, I thought it was Ewan McGregor the whole time. So
was it really? I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
You want to bet?
Yeah.
I'll bet you something.
Sorry to our 20 viewers.
I think we're
going to be wrong about this.
I should have inflated the numbers with my personal account in the Twitch. 50% higher viewers. Obi-Wan actor. Let's see.
It's
Dave McGregor.
It's Ewan McGregor.
Wow. He looks so different without a beard.
It's almost like they try to make him look younger.
Ewan McGregor the whole time.
Dude, I told you.
Well,
you
we should
you
quit now if we don't know
something.
that shit. We call ourselves a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, no, dude. If I love anybody, it's Ewan McGregor. He's like top 5 on my favorite McGregors. Yeah. Conor McGregor, Ewan McGregor, and then 3 others.
Yeah, and then the McGregor brothers.
There's a Scottish midfielder who plays for Celtic Football Club.
His name is Ewan McGregor.
His last name's Callum McGregor.
Shout out to the Reds, though. Hey,
up the fucking Reds, dude! Premier League champions.
Real quick. Champions of the league. Hey,
dude. I got so drunk.
Yeah, he said that little Snapchat of you doing shots, and you look fucked up, and I was like, yeah, I to celebrate.
Yeah, I went. So there was like 10-ish people staying in the beach house. I just went up to all of them. I was just like, "You want to celebrate winning the league with me?"
Shot.
And like Craig and Kenny were there, who were Chelsea fans. So we're gonna just turn into a Liverpool podcast now. I tried to find like stuff of the players celebrating on Reddit.
Sure.
And I just sorted Reddit by like the top posts for the past week. And the top post wasn't that. It was that Ron Swanson gif of he eating a banana and eventually putting it in a burger. And the banana was supporting Chelsea and the burger was winning the title.
Wow, that's really good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I feel like I have to look at that now.
I can send it to you. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is great.
Man. Yeah, I was.
So Padme's a Liverpool fan.
Confirmed.
She won her. All they do is win.
All they do is win. All right, so next week we're finally gonna get to a movie, Phantom Menace.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? Like
a movie cast?
Well, I think we could discuss the logistics off air, but if we can get together, we should try to live stream us reacting to Phantom Menace.
We didn't get a chance to live stream fucking Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, we can do that. Like, could I bring my desktop to one of your houses, or like what would the plan for that be?
I mean, I have a little bit of space. It's just I don't mind. It's just I feel
yeah, we can talk about it in a bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. But
we'll figure that out.
Record a Phantom Menace podcast next week. You heard it here first.
Yeah, you want to do it at your dad's? We should do it at your dad's.
You want to do it in person? Then I should just bring my desktop there.
With your dad.
My dad, yeah, he doesn't even stay there. That's not relevant.
Everybody on the podcast is like, whoa,
let's hear about Brian's familial stuff.
What do you mean? What's Brian's dad up to?
Yeah, we could do it all in person. The microphone situation might be a little clunky, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, that sounds like a future.
So I usually look at comments for our videos, but we haven't had many. Hey,
well, it's been a while, so
yeah. Hey, someone go to our YouTube channel and just watch the Last of Us videos. I wouldn't say click off it immediately because I think that fucks the algorithm. But
yeah, it might.
Just put it in a different tab and mute it while you're at work tomorrow. If you've gotten this far, you've got the commitment to mute a YouTube video in a tab in the background for us.
If you let us get real money, the quality will be a lot better. If you like what you hear now, you're gonna like what you hear when we're actually sponsored and have money.
I've got a $1 tier set up on our Patreon. We're Cannonballs podcast on every platform.
How are you looking? $1 is it from you?
We have no Patreons. All the dollars involved in this podcast are from me, but not to our Patreon.
Oh man, that's funny.
So I do want to point out, Brian, that while the Last of Us playthroughs unfortunately do not have comments, we do have one comment on our PS5 reveal stream.
Oh, are you checking it out?
from Donkey Flap.
Oh, Donkey
that's,
Flap.
No, hey, listen. So Donkey Flap is James. He's the guy I work with.
Oh,
Okay, because
Shout out to my boy James.
You
Okay,
think James
'cause-
is listening to this point?
James is definitely gonna listen to this shit, man. That's my dude.
shit, because I just want to point out his comment is, damn, this boy have some curves. So
Thank you,
I
James.
appreciate that kind of insight and commentary. If that is not just a bot, thank you.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
no,
it when not only bots comment on our YouTube.
no, that's my guy. I'll let him know that you guys like this comment when
That's
I see
good
it work.
stuff. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
YouTube's where we're getting the views. You know, Spotify, the statistics it shows me are downloads. It doesn't show me listens, which is a bit annoying. I'm sure there's a way to see it, but you only get to see downloads.
No, you're the guy who gets what you get paid for. You get paid to
Yeah.
come up with that.
You get paid for downloads,
So,
not for listens.
If
Listens
you've
don't
gotten
count.
this far, make sure you're subscribing to the Spotify, downloading episodes, and subscribing to the YouTube and liking videos.
Yeah,
That'd
we're
be
gonna get
amazing.
it's gonna get real soon. You know, like
Yep, maybe YouTube
Our
might get
fans will
microphones at some point.
It's gonna get real soon.
it could happen.
I'm ready.
I feel like my I'm gonna listen to that lemon grab part and see how good it sounds.
That might inspire you.
Yeah, if it sounds terrifying, I'll be like, it's microphone time.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
So we've been off for so long, I forgot to ask if anyone's actually ready to sign off the podcast.
I don't know. I don't know the sign off.
I'm sure Wes could pull a Star Wars quote out
I
of
always
his
can.
past.
I can always.
Time
Well, you could also just throw out like reference to the episode in general and just scream like lemon grab on the way out again. But
Ooh,
that's
please, not
scary.
until you get a. We'll let you lemon grab again once you get a real mic.
What's that, a real mic? Yeah.
Then we'll really hear like your uvula flapping. Is that what happens when you scream? How do
You can't,
uvulas
talk,
work?
you can't talk like that.
Any doctors, write in.
This is a family-friendly podcast. You can't say that kind of stuff.
So as we always sign off the Cannonballs podcast, Wesley.
If you guys are out, make sure you're being safe, and also don't buy any death sticks. Death sticks are bad. You don't want to buy any death sticks.